Lubrication Fundamentals, an inside guide from Top 1. Motor lubricants have 5 main functions in your engine. A lubricant should lubricate all moving parts of the engine to minimize corrosion and wear. The lubricant should cool the engine by carrying heat away from the engine components, which will allow the engine to run smoothly. The lubricant should seal off the piston rings to prevent contamination, decrease leakage, and increase engine efficiency. The lubricant must be able to efficiently clean the engine by holding contaminants in suspension. And finally, the lubricant needs to prevent corrosion by neutralizing acids that could potentially combust or cause damage to the engine. What are the 3 main characteristics of motor oils? Quality, performance, and viscosity. The quality of your motor oil comes from the base oil used. Base oil is the backbone of the lubricant. It makes up 80+% of the finished lubricant product. The type of base oil used defines a lubricant as a mineral, synthetic blend, or a fully synthetic product. Here are some formulation combinations to help you understand what ingredients are involved when you purchase a bottle of motor oil. A mineral base oil plus an additive package equals a mineral motor oil. A mineral base oil plus a synthetic base oil plus an additive package equals a synthetic blend or semi-synthetic motor oil. A synthetic base oil plus an additive package equals a synthetic motor oil. The next important characteristic of oil is performance. Specialty chemicals called additives define the performance of a finished lubricant. Types of additives typically used in motor oils include dispersants, detergents, and anti-wear agents. There are 2 main governing entities that regulate the additives that are used in each bottle of motor oil: API, the American Petroleum Institute, and JASO, the Japanese Automobile Standards Organization. API developed a classification system to identify oils formulated to meet the operating requirements of various engines for cars and trucks. There are 2 types of API categories, S and C. The S category is the service category for all gasoline engines. SA was originally issued when API was created in 1930, but as of today, SN is the current S category specification. The C category represents the commercial category for diesel engines. CA was originally issued in 1959. As of today, CJ4 is the current diesel specification. Here, you'll see the S category chart outlining the history of API's gasoline engine specifications. The American Petroleum Institute was created to certify that oil manufacturer standards were being upheld. This ensures that all motor oils meet the specific demands of automobiles. As time passed, auto manufacturers began to increase their demands on their engine performance and emission requirements. This situation forced the API to increase their standards for engine oil specifications as well. This became a cycle where each new API category was created to replace the previous category with improved oil performance. As you can see, SJ through SN are the current API categories, while SA through SH are now obsolete. The next chart is the C category chart, outlining the history of API's diesel engine specifications. Just as API's gasoline S category standard has increased over time, so has the diesel C category. API CA had nowhere near the stringent engine performance and emission standards as API CJ4 has today. You can see that API CH4, CI4, and CJ4 are the current API categories, while API CA through CG4 are now obsolete. Now, let's discuss the JASO oil standard, a classification system developed to identify oils formulated to meet the operating requirements of motorcycle engines. Before we get into JASO, we need to answer this question. Why do motorcycle engines demand such high specified oil as opposed to an average car? The answer is, motorcycles run at 50% higher temperature than an average car. Motorcycles average 34 to 100% higher RPMs than the average car. Motorcycles produce 42% more horsepower per liter than the average car. And motorcycles are protected only by 800 milliliters of oil, while the average car uses 4 to 5 liters. JASO is mainly concerned with classifying the clutch friction performance of the motor oil. Notice on the chart, JASO MA is high friction, while JASO MB is low friction. This chart was revised in 2006. MA1 now represents low MA friction, while MA2 represents high MA friction. Our last defining characteristic of oil is viscosity. Viscosity is defined as the thickness or resistance to the flow of a fluid. SAE, the Society of Automotive Engineers, has established a numerical code system for grading motor oils according to their viscosity characteristics. If you see this seal on your motor oil bottle, it represents that the viscosity of the product has been approved by the SAE. An important point to understand is that there are two types of SAE viscosity grades, mono and multi-grade motor oils. Mono-grade motor oils have limitations in performance and operating conditions. Also, it is considered an obsolete technology. On the other hand, multi-grade motor oil is more technologically updated because of its increased operating conditions as well as performance capabilities. Future viscosity trends are being driven by OEMs, the original equipment manufacturers, toward lighter viscosity oils. From this chart, you can see that the trend is leaning away from high viscosity lubricants such as 20Ws, which are indicated in blue, and heading towards low viscosity lubricants such as 0Ws and 5Ws, which are indicated in orange and red. Lower viscosity oils result in increased fuel efficiency. This means drivers save on fuel economy. With the robust additive packages that are available today, motor lubricants can be lighter in viscosity and yet still provide excellent protection. Here are some key points to remember. There are three major characteristics of an oil: quality, performance, and viscosity. Quality comes from the base oil, performance comes from the additives, and the viscosity defines the thickness of the oil. Top One is a synthetic lubricant specialist brand. Top quality raw materials are always sourced in the production of our finished lubricants. Top One's formulations are licensed and approved by API, JASO, FIM, and OEMs including Volkswagen, Porsche, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and others. The formulation philosophy at Top One is simple: going beyond specifications to maximize performance.